If you're making without understanding why things go viral, you're gambling with every upload. So today, I'll show you how and why this script got me 11 million views. Explaining principles like the 3 promises of a video, ping-pong writing, and how to build a suspense ladder. By the end, you'll leave with 10 principles and tactics to stop people from clicking away from your scripts. I'm Thomas, and I know this works because over 45% of the videos on the same channel have more than 1 million views. With that being said, let's start with the 3 mistakes that kill intros and how to avoid them. Mistake number 1, not matching the 3 promises your thumbnail makes. First, the emotional promise. Every packaging, aka thumbnail and title, promise a certain mood. For YouTubers messing with real gangsters, these are tension, shock, fear, schadenfreude, and a few others. Now watch the intro and see how they were confirmed.
From getting punched to getting shot because real life isn't the same as online, here are 7 times dumb influencers messed with the wrong people.
It's the same thing as movies. If you go watch a comedy, but instead you get a horror movie, you'll feel betrayed. So as a takeaway, always ask yourself what emotion are you promising to the viewer and then deliver on it. So that's the first promise. The second promise is the structured promise. In this case, the promise was a multi-story with focus on the experience, not the technicalities. For this, I have 2 easy examples that will help you better think about it for yourself. The first one is that a numbered packaging promises holistically. For example, if I had a video titled 5 mistakes YouTube beginners make, I would not give you a long story arc. Instead, I would just give you the 5 tips, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But likewise, if I had a single-phase story with a 20-minute duration, it would hint at a deep dive, not holistically. I actually made this exact mistake with the first video on Pexto, and the retention suffered. And the third and the most important promise is the interest promise. Confirm the expected topic. Here, it was YouTubers getting karma from other people. If in the intro we would not confirm this, people would again feel scammed. Oh, and by the way, these promises don't apply to just the intro. You need to keep delivering on them throughout the entire video. Also, I learned this from Mario Yos, credit where credit is due. But okay, next up, a quick one. Mistake number 2, not giving the viewer a reason to watch until the end. Every great intro is like a movie trailer. It must have an element of watch until the end, aka WTTE. In this video, we use 2 subtle ones. First, the gun clip tease. We show a prankster getting shot. It's a big oh shit moment, and naturally, the viewer will want to know, hey, what happened to him after and what happened to him before? Like, how did he get into that situation? And second, the coward progression. In this script, the stories got progressively worse and worse. So, we need to show that visually. In the edit, we've done that by starting at white and ending at dark red. It's a subtle promise that, hey, this video is gonna get more and more interesting. As for the practical tip, do this. In every single intro, give the viewer at least 1 specific signal that, hey, watch for this, do not click off. If you skip this step, the moment they are even slightly bored, they'll click off. They have nothing to wait for. I'll speak about this again in one of the transitions, but first, let's wrap up mistake number 3, an intro that's too long or too short. Here, you want to remember this. Make your intro as short as it can be, but no shorter than that. Let me explain. Different topics, lengths, viewers, and so on need different intros. For example, with gangsters, the topic is obvious, the audience is young, and the video is 12 minutes long. As a result, the entire intro was 10 seconds. Punch, shot, home screen, end. On the other hand, imagine a documentary called The Unexpected Rise of Thomas Smakal.
From growing up in a small village to becoming a full-time YouTuber, this is the story of Thomas Smakal.
If I started a video like that, would you be invested to spend 120 minutes? I hope not. Instead, I would have to show crazy real-life moments. I would have to be super specific. Anything that screams, holy what? Only then I would convince you to invest 120 minutes. As a result, the intro would have to be at least a minute long. Wrapping it all up, 2 quick rules. First, the more famous the topic or the person, the shorter the intro. And number 2, the longer the video, the longer the intro. These are not the only 2 rules you need, but they'll help you get started and give you an inspiration for how to craft it better. Which brings me to the 4th lesson, the art of conflict, and how breaking it made me lose 200,000 viewers in just 5 seconds. For this point, here's the gist. Your audience always needs to have something to look forward to. WTTE just on a smaller scale. Let me show you how we did it in this point, starting with the transition line.
Messed with the wrong people. Starting with possibly the most annoying creator in existence, Jack Doherty.
This line immediately opens a strong loop, aka makes you curious. Why is he the most annoying creator? Next sentence answers just that.
His daredevil stunts and pranks, some of which are illegal, have had the police being called on him various times.
For the remainder of your time, you need to put your phone in.
I think I'm allowed to record for my personal...
You're in my custody.
All of this showed the proof. I'm gonna get more to show don't tell in lesson number 6. I don't want to make this too confusing or even jarring. Back to the point. This loop got closed quite quickly, aka the curiosity is now answered. So we need to open another
I'm
immediately.
allowed to record for my personal...
You're in my custody.
Jack's behavior during his streams grew increasingly disturbing with his move to Los Angeles, eventually leading him to getting involved in serious situations with his fellow influencers.
So in this line, we hint that he's about to get karma multiple times.
One such example was his altercation.
And in the next one, we confirm on that by saying one such example, promising the viewer, hey, there is more to come. Now, here's where I broke the rule and lost 200,000 viewers.
The situation then escalated when Fousey swung back at Jack after he continued making comments. However, Jack's fans defended him a lot. Fousey is actually in the worst state I've ever seen him in, and he comes across as a nasty and disgusting person. The way he treated Jack was just crazy. But this wasn't the only time Jack's offhand comment.
After the Fousey payoff, I should have opened another one immediately. Instead, we not only gave exposition without any conflict present, but we also indirectly sided with the bad guy. Unsurprisingly, people left. The solution, none of this should have been in the script. Just close and open the next one immediately. As for the tactic, do this. Highlight every loop opening with purple and every loop closing with yellow. Now, make sure that every yellow is followed by purple in the next line. Do this and you have a great baseline to develop your story further. So naturally, the 5th lesson is ping pong writing. A story only lands when every action from your main character gets a clear reaction from somebody else. Action, reaction, new action, and so on and so forth. Skip the reaction and the story dies as well. Here's how we used it in Real Gangsters. First, we start in Neon's POV.
Cloud for playing dumb on December 21st, 2019, when he uploaded a video titled Neon is Dying. 2 days later, on December 23rd, he published a video called Neon's Final Words. Another 3 days went by, and on December 26th, it was announced that Neon was gone. However, only 5 days later, on December 31st, he uploaded a video telling his fans that he survived, and that it only took 2 days for him to recover from his brain
Once
tumor.
Neon is finished, the crowd reaction is firing back.
A lot of people made fun of him, making sarcastic comments such as, he came, he conquered, he died, he resurrected. Were you killed? Sadly, yes, but I lived. I'm so sad he died, but he's alive.
To this, Neon reacts by getting encouraged, and soon after, a video of him beat up surfaces.
This encouraged Neon even further, as in mid-2023, a video of him getting beat up surfaced. However, this time around, a lot of people knew about his spineless behavior and weren't taking things at face value anymore, believing the video was fake from the start. Bro, no one gets caught lacking in the middle of a field and gets their short ripped, but their glasses stay on. His shirt not even dirty, and they in dirt.
And again, the audience reacts back by calling the clip fake. This continues until the end of the point, then the climax, he gets beat up again, end of story. If you do this, you keep the viewers hooked. But there is one mistake you want to avoid, and that's being too predictable. Sometimes you want boom, bam, boom. Other times you want boom, build, 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 bam. Think of this, well, any scripting advice you get as magic. It only works if the audience doesn't know what you are doing. As a cheat code, do this. Highlight every surf in green and every return in red. Next, make sure that 1. You have enough reds and 2, that the colors don't form a perfect pattern. By the way, I'm gonna explain more coloring techniques, but don't apply them all at once. It would be too challenging and you would lose motivation. Instead, at any given point, focus fully on just one, and once you master it, you can move to the next one. Though first, the quick bonus transition tip that I mentioned in the intro. In this transition, we said,
But even when going over the top, he can't match the toxicity of Zherka, a creator so vile Twitch permanently banned him from appearing on their
a
site.
transition like this reminds the viewer that, hey, this video is going to keep getting better. But okay, now show, don't tell. AKA, let people see first and only then label. As an example, notice how in the transition we didn't say Zherka is dumb. If we did that, we would look like judgmental pricks. But now, watch this.
Remember, if the Earth's a globe, the Bible's not real. If the Earth had dinosaurs, the Bible's not real. Literally every angle is an attack on the Bible, right?
If I now said he's dumb, do you see the difference? It's exactly what we did in this script. We first showed that clip and one more, and only then we transitioned by saying, oh hey, this stupidity would make him start a beef, blah blah blah. The label feels earned, not preached. Also, you don't always need a video. Specific description works as well. In this case, just name the action and let the viewer be the judge. The beauty of this is that their opinion already locks in when they watch or hear the description. Your label just simply names what they feel, even making you more likable in the process because you are confirming their beliefs. And finally, like always, a practical tip to apply this. Yes, more colors. Brown for claims and labels, and blue for proofs. In this case, brown should almost never appear before blue. If it does, you need to change it. That being said, proof on a flat line is still boring. So we need a way to escalate. Which brings us to the 7th lesson, rising conflict. Do you remember the 2 vertical lines in ping pong writing? Well, it's actually a ladder. Each step is bigger than the last until the ultimate payoff. This is how we used it in the Sneeko segment. First, Sneeko throws a jab at Penguin Zero's girlfriend. Penguin Zero then roasts him harder in a response video. They then trade words, each louder than the next time, until finally Sneeko pulls out a gun, only for Penguin Zero to top him again and end the beef with the famous rifle response. Escalating conflict can't get any more obvious than literally pulling out a bigger gun. Before you start using this though, don't make this one critical mistake. It has to be a consistent escalation. If I started beefing for no reason and call you a mean person, and in response you threaten to kill my entire family, everyone will still hate you because it wasn't warranted. Big reaction jumps like this only work in comedy when it's done for laughs, because then if I, punch you and you pull out a bazooka, it's funny. That being said, the principle I want you to remember is this. Turn your ping pong story into a ladder, with each step being more intense than the last. If any step skips steps, fucking hell, add the missing beat or just cut the lead. Speaking of next steps, the 8th lesson is about not falling off the ladder. Viewers clicked for the interest promise. If you drift away, they will drift away. Here's how we handled it with Crypto King. First, we don't open with his childhood story. We go straight into the fraud, the kidnap
His
pipeline.
next influencer. Aiden Platersky, labeled the Crypto King, owned a crypto kingdom that seemed to be a win-win for everyone. He promised millions for his investors, while he got to drive his fancy cars, fly in private jets, and live in luxury locations.
It is only 2 short lines of context, just enough to make the fall hurt.
However, as it soon turned out, his $40 million empire was nothing but a giant Ponzi scheme, and he was about to learn the price of being a scammer.
Once done, we opened a loop that he's about to learn a lesson, and the rest of the point is just him getting that lesson. What the f? Once done, we open the loop that he's about to learn a lesson, and the rest of the point is just him getting that lesson and the relevant aftermath. Nothing else. Here, the tactical takeaway is this. Highlight every line that stays on the ladder in dark green and every side trivia in gray. Then, if 5 seconds pass without dark green, you need to optimize the script, you are going too much off track. Also, you have to pay extra attention to this. Sometimes what is obvious to you and why it be relevant is not so obvious to the viewer. So again, pay attention and be strict. By the way, if you notice that I'm using the same structure for every point, good eye. And if you haven't noticed it yet, pay attention to the structure in the next point, which is the 9th lesson, the power of tension. Suspense is the best viewer glue if it's real. And the Tanner Cook segment is the perfect example. This is the guy who got shot in the intro, and we also confirmed it again in the
What
transition.
if getting beat up wasn't the worst injury you could sustain? Tanner Cook.
People can't wait to watch this. So what do? We don't give it immediately.
The 21-year-old prankster is the mastermind behind the YouTube channel Classified Goons. As the name suggests, the pranks are classified as dangerous, making Tanner out to be a tough goon, someone who isn't meant to be messed with, when in fact, it's quite the opposite.
First, we stack up proof that he's a jerk. This will make the shot so much more satisfying.
While Tanner elicits responses from the victims of his pranks for views, one day he didn't get the response he expected.
And then, when the gun clip finally comes, we should have started even 5 seconds earlier. Nobody is gonna click off just before the gunshot. That's how powerful anticipation is. But now, 3 pitfalls I need you to avoid. First, if you have no valleys, you'll have no peaks. If every single segment in the video blasts dun 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 dramatic music, every single 10 is gonna become the new 5. So, give the audience quiet, slow moments so that when the spike hits, it hits hard. Number 2, this is quite relevant, don't fake the suspense. If you put dramatic music over every segment, not only will you make everything a 5, but you also train viewers to ignore you. If there is a sad moment and again you have dun dun dun, it will lose all the punch. And number 3, sell the risk. When you do actually have a proper suspenseful moment, do everything you can to convey that to the viewer. If you do it, they won't leave no matter what. Yes, even if you make other mistakes. That's how powerful suspense is. And finally, the 10th lesson. Leave an impact. With this video, after 12 minutes of constant building, we end with one powerful line.
Timothy, along with a friend, were in the midst of filming a prank robbery as part of a YouTube video. Armed with butcher knives, they approached a group of people. Unaware of the robbery being a prank, one of those group members shot Timothy in self-defense. Now, in the end, Timothy did get the clout he wanted, but just for the wrong reasons.
It sums the story and leaves a sting. This is important for 3 reasons. Number 1, the last line is the freshest in memory. A sharp line cements the theme. Number 2, education and entertainment sit on one curve. When the final line names the moral, viewers leave feeling they learned, not just watched. And number 3, a memorable exit almost acts as a cliffhanger. People are left with a "oh whoa" and want to watch your next video. And 2 final practical tips. Number 1, keep it short. 10 words at most if you can. If you can't, at least make it rhythmical, something to make it punch better. And number 2, the final line should reflect what you actually spoke about. Never just force it in. That's it. Stick the landing and the audience sticks with you. No, I'm fat. This is gone. Cut this, cut.